Hello, everybody, and welcome to Right Here, Right Now, live Buffalo football talk presented by Forefathers Organics. I'm your host, Alex Brasky, alongside my co-host, Ajay Cybulski, here for the Batavia Daily and Livingston County News. Each week, we'll discuss Buffalo's favorite football team, along with all the comings and goings from right here, AJ, the friendly confines in Orchard Park, Highmark Stadium, where the Bills return tonight for the return of the blue and red scrimmage here at Highmark Stadium. And today's episode, as always, is presented by Forefathers Organics.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products are USDA certified organic. Discover all natural wellness from farm to table. Visit ForefathersOrganics.com for more information.
All right, AJ, another fun night here at Highmark Stadium, as has been the case year after year for the return of blue and red. Over 36,000 fans in attendance, 136 to be exact. You were one of them in the stands with your father, Chris, enjoying the great scenes here at Highmark Stadium. A lot of fan interaction, a lot of excitement. And the excitement all began with Josh Allen trotting out his newest throwback look, the matte black helmet with the red standing buffalo, which got the crowd of 36,000 into a frenzy to begin the event. And from there on out, there weren't many more offensive fireworks put forth, but that certainly was an exciting moment. It's been a tradition here over the past few years for Josh Allen to debut those different throwback or different helmet looks for the Bills. And I thought this one was one of the best of the bunch.
Yeah, definitely like I like the standing buffalo look, Alex. It's something that, I talked about it. I think we were talking about the red jerseys in one of our previous episodes, and I mentioned that I just like that standing buffalo, like the red, white, and blue kind of look. It's a cool look. So again, I thought the helmet was sweet. Didn't give any hints away yesterday at the post presser, so I think that was a good thing because I think it was a pleasant surprise for people and something that I think a lot of fans weren't really expecting. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. First, I think after dark episode technically of Right Here, Right Now. So you in the background with the nice stadium lights on, Joe DeRosa in the comments from Cover One. That green screen background is awesome, Alex. Makes it look like you're at the stadium. So some fun from Joe. Shout out to Joe. Does great work over at Cover One. But yeah,
Greg Rougeau.
Matt Lancho, Greg Rougeau, whatever given day. He's always got something clever.
He's on fire, Joe. He's on fire.
But after that, like you mentioned, Alex, I think the offense, it was a day for the defense, and maybe that's where we'll start. But it definitely a promising day for this defense. I think, going into the stadium, coming off, I think they've kind of been not decimated, but basically controlled by the offense all of training camp. And you go out there and the defense puts on what they, kind of put on today. I think that's a good sign for the defense. Kind of gives them some confidence. A lot of players on the fringe of the roster, I think, made a lot of plays. So there's a lot to talk about on both sides of the ball, but I just wanted to shout out the defense for a great day at Highmark Stadium.
Yeah, before we get into the nitty-gritty of today's event, I'd like to preface the offense's performance with the fact that it is in front of 36,000 people. There are a lot of people watching. The offense isn't going to trot out its best game plan or its best sides of the playbook for an event like this for all eyes to see. They're going to run vanilla plays, vanilla schemes. They're just not going to do much to put on display for opposing teams to get a look at. So I think an event like this favors the defense, and that's what you saw play out on the field. And we'll just start right here. Kaiir Elam is kicking down the door in that cornerback room. We've talked about it time and again how he has locked down that cornerback 3 job and maybe not contending for a starting role, but he's getting snaps with the starting first-team defense. He did today opposite Christian Benford, and boy, did he make the most of his opportunities today during the return of the blue and red. During 7-on-7 work, he recorded yet another interception on a pass intended for Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Elam leaping into the air, recording the remarkable takeaway, and then a pass breakup later during 11-on-11 in the end zone. Went up with one hand, took it away from Brian Thompson, nearly recorded the interception. And I was right near the play, and Jamil Adai, throughout 11-on-11 work in team drills, but specifically on this play, in Kaiir Elam's ear, before the play, during the play, as the ball is in the air, and after the play, just giving him instruction, working through the play with him, and showing excitement for the young player after the play. I think Ajay has worked wonders for Elam throughout his first year as Bills cornerbacks coach, and this third-year player is really, really on the rise.
And you can't forget the number change for 5. I'm
Right.
kind of kidding, but he was asked about it, and he said,
No,
he
but
feels more
yeah, we
comfortable.
did it
Right.
amongst the scrum. It was myself and the guys and girls from Buffalo Plus, and they asked him, I think it was Mike Catalana, if he just feels different in 5, and he said for
Yeah.
sure it's
Yeah.
back to his old number. And you're right, he is certainly showing he's back to his old ways.
Yeah, so I think with Kaiir, I mean, just again, the Allen tried to fit it. I was kind of like a deep corner route, cover two high shell with 2 safeties back there, and it's kind of reminiscent of that Jets game where he tried to fit it in a tight window where the Jets corner picked it off. Kaiir was kind of supposed to be at the lower half of the field, but read Josh Allen's eyes, kind of backed up and just used his instincts to make a great play, and the ball came away with the interception. And I thought Kaiir throughout the whole practice had a couple of pass breakups. I watched him a couple reps against Trail Shavers with the second team just to take a look at him, because obviously impressed with what he's done throughout the scrimmage and throughout training camp. And he locked them up, and I think obviously Trubisky went off his read and didn't throw it to Shavers because Elam had him right in wraps. But yeah, for a guy like Elam, again, it's all about, he has the tools, he has the traits. You mentioned Coach Ajay and what he's done for him. I think it's a welcoming sign for not only him, but maybe a Sean McDermott, who I think has belief in Brandon Beane. Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane have belief in Kaiir Elam, because they were in a situation last year where they could have, probably got him for maybe not crazy, draft capital, but there were talks that maybe they would move him at the deadline. They chose to stick with him, and now, fast forward to today, they get rid of John Butler. He parts ways back to the college ranks, taking over. I forget exactly where, but he's back at the college level coaching. And
Nebraska.
I think Coach Ajay, yes. So I think Coach Ajay has just done a lot for Kaiir's development so far. And again, he's stacking days. He'll never touch the starting lineup in my eyes unless an injury, just because of the fact that Bedford and Douglas are that good in my opinion. But again, just from a confidence level
and the consistency, I think with those two is a little bit better than Kaiir. Kaiir more splash plays; those two a little bit more consistent.
Yeah. So with Kaiir, I just think his lack of consistency, but also they're building trust there with him. So like maybe they do feel more confident, counting on him as a CB3 in an immediate role if they do need to in a pinch. So I think with everything, with what we've seen from Kaiir so far, has just been really good and a really positive sign for a guy that's really trying to turn around his kind of career and the conversations surrounding him.
And another Bills defensive back who put on a show today, and this is what's come to be expected of this player, an All-Pro last season, but Taron Johnson really not messing around during today's return of the blue and red scrimmage. Put Ray Davis on his backside on a tackle for loss in the backfield. Later came up with a pass breakup in the end zone while the team was working through red zone. Allen trying to find a receiver along the back line of the end zone, and Taron Johnson there to turn it away. Also, after a big play made by Daquan Hardy, an interception in the end zone, he pulled it away from KJ Hamler near the back left pylon. Taron Johnson sprinted over, showing that leadership, celebrating with a rookie cornerback. So Taron Johnson, on a day where 2 veteran defensive standouts didn't see time during team drills, Von Miller and Matt Milano both not participating during team drills, Taron Johnson really put on a show and put the members of Bills Mafia in attendance, gave them something to cheer for, and showed them what one of these top members of this defense is still capable of this year. Just I thought a great day from Taron Johnson. He's had a great camp, but today I thought he really kicked it into another gear.
Yeah, he's an all-pro, right? Like that's what all pros do, and that's exactly what he's going to be asked to do for a defense that with the amount of turnover the Bills have experienced, he is the guy. You've asked him countless times during the offseason, and I'm sure many others on the beat, about just his leadership and his kind of ability to become a leader, and he's kind of bought into that mentality. He's not the most vocal guy, but like you mentioned, you see him celebrate with Daquan Hardy, who again, he's in the punt return battle, and I think he's had a great day. He had a great day today. Maybe we'll get to him. But yeah, Taron, I think just his fearlessness, like that's the word that comes to mind when I think of Taron Johnson, just his fearlessness, his willingness to tackle anybody, wrap up whatever he's asked to do in coverage, even he's just all over the field. He's great in coverage. He's a great tackler in the box. He's physical, and he's just exactly what you want in a defense that runs so much nickel, because he can do everything that you'd want in a prototypical corner at the nickel spot.
Yeah, we are going to get to Daquan Hardy next. It's a good way or a good spot to go next. And Rez, we will get to your question about Keon Coleman later as we move on to the offense. Some big plays made by wide receivers, but overall the day won by the defense. Daquan Hardy pulling it away from KJ Hamler near that back left pylon. I think he's been pretty good in coverage and playing above his size a little bit too. There was a lot of concern about him being undersized coming into the league, but I think he's put a good training camp on display. He's played a little bit of boundary corner throughout training camp. Perhaps the Bills just testing him out there, seeing what he has to offer. And today he ran right with Hamler, a speedy guy, stride for stride in the red zone, went up, made a play, and took it away for the takeaway.
Yeah, Daquan Hardy was in another rep going back to kind of like a shorter up by Andy Isabella underneath. Sticky coverage, perfect timing. I mean picture perfect timing by Hardy. Right when Isabella got the ball in his hands, Hardy was able to come over behind his back a little bit, break it up, make contact with Isabella, fell incomplete. So not only that play, but like you said, the interception that comes to mind from him, it was just a phenomenal play, right? Like he didn't really feel like he was in the ideal position to make that play. Trubisky kind of floated it up, and Hardy came away with it. Great reaction, turned his head, didn't get caught, kind of looking and just putting your hands up and interfering with the receiver. Great ball skills, great instincts to turn, track the ball and haul in the interception. So I think a guy like Hardy, his punt returning ability, combined with what we've seen in coverage, I really think right now, I'm not saying a lock by any means, because I think there's still a lot of competition to be determined with preseason games coming up. But I think he's got maybe a little bit of a step ahead just because of the fact that his coverage ability combined with the punt returning ability and kick returning ability just gives the Bills that versatile skill set that they might need to take advantage of if they want to keep an extra wide receiver, if they want to keep an extra offensive lineman, and because he can just offer that that adaptability at the defensive level and in special teams. So like what I see from Hardy, and looking forward to see what he can do as camp progresses.
Yeah, great day for the Bills. Pass defense continues with an interception from Deion Jones during 7-on-7, and then to Corey Couch tipping a pass into the air that was intercepted, thrown by Mitch Trubisky. So the Bills defense flying around during the return of the blue and red. Really, I think their best day so far. And like I said at the top of this podcast, I think it coincides with the fact that the Bills offense not running many unique looks out there to give opposing teams some good tape to look at. So I think vanilla schemes, vanilla plays being run led to some success from the defense. But hey, you got to give them credit for taking advantage. Another player I saw in your takeaways on Twitter that I saw a pass batted down at the line of scrimmage. Didn't see much else from him, but I did see that. Dwayne Carter early in practice. What did you see from him as practice went along after that ball batted down early?
Yeah, just his jump off the line. I think his timing, because I was obviously keying in on him, because I think, again, he's going to be a key rotational guy for this defense. Daquan Jones, who, again, in his 30s, I think they're going to still ask a lot of Daquan, but coming off that injury and what they expect from Dwayne Carter, obviously spent high enough draft capital where you feel comfortable he can be a key rotational guy. Just being active and being making people know his name. What number was that? You kind of look and that was number 90, Dwayne Carter. He made that play. So I think his kind of just his resurgence, I wouldn't say resurgence, but just his kind of assimilation up the charts here. Daquan Jones talked about him at the post presser yesterday during training camp, and just talked about he's going to be a special kid. Like that's what he said about Dwayne Carter, and that's a guy that's done it in this league for a long time. So I'm excited to see what Carter has to offer in this Bills defense, and I think he's going to be a key rotational piece moving forward.
Before we move to the offense and answer Rez's question about Keon Coleman, a quick word from our sponsor, Forefathers Organics. At Forefathers Organics, their mission is to liberate, educate, and innovate with the highest quality CBD and hemp-derived products for your mind, body, and soul, so you can live happy and free. Visit them at 87 Franklin Street in Dansville, online at forefathersorganics.com, or call them at 585-335-2223 to learn more about the products they offer. All right, question from Rez on Keon Coleman. Wasn't a huge standout today. AJ did make a couple of plays. One, a deep ball over the middle, a relatively deep ball thrown by Josh Allen. Coleman's been a steady target for Allen throughout training camp. Not, like I said, not a lot of plays today, but I've been impressed with the rookie thus far. We've talked about it already. Maybe not in line for wide receiver share, but showing some of the traits that a wide receiver needs to show. And I think in the future, I think he could definitely assume that role for the Bills.
Yeah, to Reza's question, I think throughout camp, if I'm going throughout camp, I think, again, he's shown the red zone ability. He's shown that he can high point the ball and win those one-on-one contested catch situations. And today he had, again, in a hurry-up situation, the Bills offense was trying to put together a field goal during practice. They were down, I think, 2 or something like that. And Coleman got some separation on the edge, came back to the ball, got his hands on it, and made a nice play, probably like a 10, 15-yard curl. So that was really the notable play from Coleman for me. So again, it wasn't really much before that. I think I remember saying to my dad, because he was sitting next to me, I'm like, I'm sorry, Dad. Like I've seen a lot of good things from Keon Coleman, but he hasn't really done much today because obviously he always asks about me what I'm seeing. So he was a little disappointed.
You are right with that curl route, though. I remember that, and
yeah,
he really ran a great route and separated himself. I forget who was in coverage. I think it was Christian Benford in coverage.
Yeah,
he really broke it down at the top of the route and created that separation he needed in order to come away with the catch. And that's been widely discussed with Keon Coleman. Can he separate from defenders? And on this play, he did to make himself available for his quarterback.
Yeah, and it wasn't like that OPI that they called. Again, I was across the field and like I saw the reaction, so I didn't see the flag call because I just
Joe Marino didn't like the call either, AJ.
Okay. So like from my vantage point, I didn't see much of really anything on that play, but I guess the ref called it. With this same situation, I don't think he really extended his arms. Now he used his arm. Like as a receiver, you got to use your hands to kind of create separation sometimes. But it wasn't a clear extension or an OPI call. He did it, subtly, got open and did what a lot of NFL receivers do in this league that are great at what they do. Diggs does it all the time. All these greats do it. So I think that's a positive sign. But yeah, I think with Coleman, it's just going to be a big learning curve for him. Where is he going to fit in? He's got to find his groove, his role. Consistency, chemistry with Josh Allen. There's still probably a lot for them to grow in the next coming weeks. But yeah, overall from Coleman, I think I've seen exactly kind of what I've expected from a guy that came out as a highly contested catch guy that can make plays in high contested situations. So that's exactly what he's done so far.
And a few injury updates. We mentioned that Matt Milano, Nora Von Miller participated during team drills. They were out there in full uniform. Let's see here as I scroll through my takeaways story here. Ty Johnson not participating, remaining day-to-day with a hamstring. Chase Claypool, a toe injury, not participating. Offensive lineman Travis Clayton, a shoulder injury. And Lale Collins announced as day-to-day with a knee injury. A couple of players left practice and did not return. David Ogwegbu, the offensive lineman, and the linebacker Edifon Ulofoshio. Coincidentally, the players whose last names the most difficult to pronounce both left practice today, making light of an unfortunate situation. Hopefully, both players can return sooner rather than later. No Cole Bishop, no Mike Edwards, Cam Lewis with the second team defense, and it was Kendall Williamson out there with the second team first off, and then Terrell Burgess and Kareem Jackson mixing in. You had Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin remaining with the first team defense at safety. I think that's pretty much it in terms of the injury updates. Anything I'm forgetting, AJ?
I don't believe so. I think it's hard so far. Like I saw Ulofoshio leave the field, but I didn't know who it was until obviously you sent out the tweet, the great updates you provide during all these scrimmages and practices. So I wasn't really able to tell. So yeah, I think you got everything covered, sir.
Ulofoshio made a great play on a Ray Davis goal line rush attempt. Came up, it was almost a one-on-one stop at the line of scrimmage. Got up, really emotional, rookie trying to make the team. Then the very next play, he was in on another goal line stop and came up holding his arm, walked slow back to the locker room. So something to keep an eye on there. Ulofoshio seemed to be in line for special team snaps at the very least if he were to make the team, and perhaps working his way in as a capable backup as well, maybe just in specialty situations. Tough to see him as a complete linebacker in his career, but I like what I've seen from him early. An unfortunate injury. But while it wasn't an explosive day for the Bills offense, there were a couple of big plays to be had in the run game. James Cook, a sizable gain up the middle early on, slipping a tackler near the line of scrimmage, bursting into the secondary. Play was blown dead, but I think it was maybe a little premature. Terrell Bernard got like a hand on Cook, but Cook was able to slip him as well at the second level and take it into the secondary. Good game by Cook, good burst.
Yeah, I think Cook and Davis showcased their ability today. Ray Davis, obviously the big touchdown, I'm sure we're probably getting to, but not touchdown, the nice like 60 yard run. Really
AJ always jumping the gun on me.
Jumping the gun, but yeah, I thought Cook had his moments, and it's so hard, Alex, like with these scrimmages and practices, because the defense like can't, you know what I mean? Like I felt like there was times where Cook, yeah, he squeaked free for 10 yards, but Dorian Williams filled the run gap and probably would have, put him right to the turf. So it's tough knowing exactly how these running backs look, but I will say I think the offensive line got some good push today, allowed the running backs to get into space. The Ray Davis felt like the most like pure, I would say, run. Like I felt like he wasn't touched. He put his foot in the ground and really, booked it to the end zone. So I liked what I saw from Ray Davis, James Cook. I think that dynamic's going to be interesting to see how that really plays out. Again, they've been very, I think heavily rotational with the running back unit so far during camp. And I'm looking forward to Ray Davis. I think when he puts his foot in the ground, he's got speed. He's a smaller guy, but he's got power as well, and he can catch out of the backfield. So a perfect complement, in my opinion, to what they have with James Cook.
Yeah, touchdown Davis. I'll just tell the people about the play. Escape for a 60-yard run up the middle. Massive hole created by the offensive line, so not a ton of work for Davis to do, but he hit the hole hard, burst into the secondary a long way for a touchdown. And as I scroll down in my story, how about this, AJ? Bills Mafia. No one liked them. Actually, you know what? We'll save that for later. We'll finish up with the offense here. Why don't we just move on quickly to the receiving or the day from the passing game? Your level of concern with Josh Allen and the rest of the quarterbacks, a number of interceptions. You did see Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox find the end zone in red zone work, and another good day for Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who caught a couple of balls. A slow start to training camp, but he's starting to gain ground. And KJ Hamler, I think I mentioned it earlier, his first big play at camp, securing a well-thrown ball from Mitch Trubisky. Your level of concern up, and one more thing, the battle for the third tight end spot, Quentin Morris, Zach Davidson, really trading receptions today. Morris would have had a long touchdown, but slid down to allow Tyler Bass a field goal opportunity, while Zach Davidson came through with a touchdown in red zone work. Another good group celebration after that. What else is new? But your level of concern on Josh Allen's day, I mentioned it twice. Offense really not running, going deep into the playbook. So your level of concern for Josh Allen's day today.
Again, I'll take responsibility. I jinxed him because on yesterday's podcast, I mentioned
you are the walking jinx.
Yes. So on yesterday's podcast, I mentioned how, and I was going to tweet it today, and thank God I didn't, because I was going to talk about how Josh Allen's we're talking about Josh Allen, how he's had a great camp and probably the best start to his career as an NFL quarterback. But I also wanted to add, like, the turnovers haven't been there. So I think today you saw some turnovers, him trying to force some balls. Obviously I think 3 happened in 7-on-7, or at least 2 in a row from my memory. I know for a fact 2 in a row that occurred during that 7-on-7 session. So I think with Josh, it's just, I'm not too concerned. I think the turnovers will always be a little bit of a concern, right? Like that's what the roller coaster ride with Josh Allen. He's going to have those games or moments where you're like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to fit that ball in there? Take the easy play. But overall, I mean, I'm not overly concerned, because I think he's just been so accurate, precise, and he's really been doing exactly what he's asked to do in Joe Brady's system, Joe Brady's offense, finding whoever's open, taking what's given to him. And I'm not overly concerned. But, and again, I think it's good for the defense, too, to build some confidence. The offense has been really handing it to them, I'd say, through the first 7 practices at St. John Fisher. And for the defense to try and kind of turn it around, I'm sure Bobby Babbitt, Sean McDermott, pleased with the effort from their defense today. I think it was in due time a moment for the defense to kind of take control a little bit and get their footing.
And that's going to about wrap it up for our commentary on the action on the field today. The Bills will return to the practice field on Sunday at 11:45, kind of a brunch practice at St. John Fisher University. And then on Monday, they'll have another practice. That one will be closed to fans. Media will be in attendance. Before we get on out of here, AJ, though, let's talk about the fans in attendance tonight. Just a great showing from Bills Mafia. Year in and year out at this event, it's always great to see so many people flooding in. Now, it wasn't great for us as we had to get the paper out for the Batavia Daily News early in the day. Both thought we left early enough to arrive on time.
Yep.
But boy, oh boy, was traffic just a nightmare getting here. We both kind of walked in about 5-10 minutes after practice started. Didn't miss much. We did miss Alan running on with that matte black helmet, but plenty of videos for us to watch and gain the experience there. This may have been the worst traffic I've ever experienced coming to the stadium. It took me about 2 hours and 15 minutes to get here. I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that people were being turned away trying to park at the stadium. A lot of the exterior lots were closed. A lot of the privately owned lots not being open. Also, rush hour traffic on a Friday contributing. So really the perfect storm for people like me and you to run a few minutes late. And wasn't a great scene at some points. I know you were probably getting a little frustrated. There were times I was pounding the dashboard saying, come on, let me go. But we finally made it. And now we're here talking and reflecting on the day. How bad was your experience in traffic, and how did your dad do with it? I know if I'm in traffic with my dad goes crazy. Nothing mixes worse than fathers in traffic.
Yeah, so my dad is very very relaxed, right? Like a very relaxed guy. But I was kind of like looking like, Dad, like, dude, it's 5 o'clock. We're not even at Louis Red Hots yet. We haven't even passed it yet. And I didn't think I had cash in my wallet. So we're passing all these places, $20 here, $20 there. I'm like, Dad, I can't. And I looked at my wallet and I'm like, oh,
So
Dad,
it sounds like you every time we go out to eat, no cash in your wallet.
Exactly. I play that card. So I was like, I look at my wallet and there's $20. I'm like, Dad, that's take a sharp right. So I was able to park in a private lot right near the stadium and got in. But yeah, man, like it was compared to like a normal game. It was like just as bad. Like we were stuck on Route 20 coming up from the South Towns for an hour and a half, a good hour and a half. And just, I guess we got to get a good look at the stadium. I showed my dad some of my cool music that I listened to, and he just kind of bopped his head and tapped his leg, listened to the music. But
acted like he liked it.
Exactly. So yeah, it was definitely an experience that I was, astonished with the numbers. I mean, over 36,000 people. And that's why, I think Alex, it's fun to cover this team, not only because they're good right now, but the fan support and how much this city, and it's kind of just built around the Buffalo Bills, and that kind of how this city goes right now. And the Sabres, I think, are also very important, and there's a lot of other things that people care about in this city. But I think sports and the Bills and Sabres in general just bring everybody together, and it's just fun to see people like you mentioned. You posted that photo, people from all over the country coming for a scrimmage.
It's not the country, AJ. And you say this city runs on the Bills. It's the entire world runs on the Bills. Let's just be honest. Owen traveled over 7,000 miles from Okinawa. That's Japan,
yeah.
AJ. Okinawa, Japan, to see his Bills, and specifically Khalil Shakir, who he's holding up the sign for. It said, for those listening on the podcast, actually for everybody, they can't see it, but if you can go to my Twitter, Khalil, we're here from Okinawa to see you. Hi from Japan. I went up to him. I asked him, did you really come all the way from Japan? He goes, yeah. I go, how long is that? Oh, over 7,000 miles. I look it up. Sure enough, over 7,000 miles, this young man, Owen, traveled to come watch the return of the blue and red. Bills Mafia is just built different, and it's not only citywide, region-wide, statewide, countrywide. It is worldwide, Ajay Cybulski.
Yeah, and they travel in bunches. You think about the Titans games, they take over the stadium. You think about even some Chiefs games. I think Bills fans really made their presence known. Obviously, that rivalry's at its peak right now. So, yeah, I think just Bills fans in general, it was a great event. I think it's great for the kids to just kind of have a relaxed day, get to see some Bills football in the stadium. I was walking back from the stadium, and a mom was with her 2 kids talking to someone about, oh, this is my kid's first experience at the stadium. And they were kind of rattled a little bit, but you could tell like they had a good time and they were, obviously leaving the stadium. So maybe a little bit upset that they couldn't see the Bills anymore and see the players out there. So just an overall, it's a great day, I think, more so for, not really like maybe the football side's obviously important, but I think it's just a great event for families and stuff to just go out and enjoy a nice Friday evening at Highmark Stadium.
Absolutely. And as Keon Coleman said after the session ended, a swath of media surrounded him and asked him a few questions. He said, next week's going to be even better. First preseason game for the Bills coming up against the Chicago Bears on Saturday, August 10th at Highmark Stadium. So, AJ, before we get out of here, a word from Forefathers Organics.
Unlock the power of nature with Forefathers Organics, your premium CBD store. We offer the highest quality CBD and hemp products to liberate your mind, body, and soul, helping you live happy and free. Our mission is driven by excellence and transparency, using cutting-edge scientific methods to combat stress and target issues at their source. From potent ingestible CBD to soothing topicals, all our products.
Oh, I ended it early. Oh, well. Not oh, well. We'd certainly like to thank Forefathers. It's certainly not
ideal.
Something we take lightly, ending the sponsor early. But at Forefathers Organics, their mission is to liberate, educate, and innovate with the highest quality CBD and hemp-derived products for your mind, body, and soul so you can live happy and free. Visit them at 87 Franklin Street in Dansville, online at forefathersorganics.com, or call them at 585-335-2223 to learn more about the products they offer. We almost made it through an episode without a technical glitch.
Next time.
At least there was no connection or audio issues. And before there are, let's get the heck out of here. For AJ, my name is Alex. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.